If you've ever been on my Lanzarote workshop, you might just recognise this place. We do an exercise, a game which I call Photo Twister, where everybody has to stand on the steps and see how many shots they can find without leaving them. Now, I'm not going to do that in case you come on the workshop. I don't want to give the game away, but as you can see, it's quite a nice shot in itself. So what I want to talk to you about is when you go for a day out, you go somewhere really pretty and you think, okay, I want to get some shots around the town. Now, very often some details can work best, but also think about how you put a shot together. Think about the elements. For example, up here we've got a palm tree and it's kind of holding this side of the shot together. And then over here we've got this lamppost and the buildings beyond, and then the steps down in the foreground which sort of lead you into the picture. Don't just randomly take a picture of the square that looks something like this, because it's not great, is it? You've got to walk around a bit, you've got to think like a photographer, you've got to think where to stand. Where to stand is so important in photography. So there we go, there's a little shot all in itself. How would I execute it? Well, let's have a little go, shall we? So I'd obviously be about where we are now because this is the right place. Let's see what we've got. Now, the light is absolutely awful because the sun has gone in behind the clouds. I'm hoping we're going to get a little bit of light come up in a moment because there's a blue hole coming. Here it comes. I think you can see the light is just beginning to lift. So I want a bit of depth of field. F11 should be enough. If I focus on the steps, that should be the right place. Very careful with the exposure because those clouds in the sky are bright. Let's just make sure I don't burn them out. Focus on the steps. We've got our composition. Here we go at F11. Now, unfortunately, while I was talking to you, the light went down. So we kind of lost that light. So what I'm going to do is just wait for a moment and come back when we've got some sun on the scene, and you can see the difference a bit of light makes. So here we go. The light has just started to sneak out from behind a cloud, and as if by magic, the place is suddenly looking more interesting. So we know what we're going to do, we know our composition, we're all ready to go. Let's be quick and do it before this gorgeous little bit of light decides to disappear again. We've got some great clouds going on in the distance, we've got some nice sort of, that's really quite a pretty picture of the square overall. But don't forget, some details can often tell the story better than the big overall picture. So let's go for a little walk around town, see if we can find 3 or 4 pictures that kind of tell the story. We're in Tagize, it's the ancient capital of Lanzarote. Let's see what it looks like. Sorry if I'm a bit dark, viewers, there's a lot of light going on up the street behind me, but look, what a pretty little street this is. Now, it's very easy when you're walking around to just sort of walk down the street, come around the corner and go, oh, isn't that pretty? And you just sort of take a picture. And yeah, it's okay, but it's not that exciting really, is it? Think about using a bit of foreground. What about this doorway we've got just here? Why don't we have a go and see if we can use that to add a bit more depth to it so the picture sort of zigzags and leads you up the street. So let's just come in a bit closer. Now, I don't want, let's get some video going for you. Here we go. Now, I don't want this sign on the wall, but I do want that doorway, and it kind of looks a lot more interesting than the shot I just showed you. It's not bad with just a little bit of wall there, but let's just come back and ease that doorway into the shot. Look, you see how it sort of adds some depth to it. So let's take it quickly before the light goes. If I can stop my video from rolling. Done at last. Sorry about that. Right. Now, in an ideal world, we'd do it without anyone walking down the street, but there we go, we'd wait for them to go. In fact, we're going to have to wait for them to go because the light's just gone. So how will we put the shot together? We want a fair bit of depth of field. Now, I noticed that if I focus on the corner of the street, just in there, that kind of works really well. F11, it's giving me enough depth of field with a 16mm lens. So all we're going to do is see if we can hang on for a moment. Maybe the people will leave, maybe the light will come through, in which case it'll make it a lot more interesting. While we're waiting, I don't know if you can see, look in the monitor, but on about there's a castle on top of a hill. So it's quite cool really. If we had a shaft of light directly on it, that would make a world of difference. I think we're going to get one. I've now of course got the abandoned street, but I haven't got the light. Light is the most important thing. If I take that shot again now without the light, I think you'll see it looks a little bit dead. It's okay, but it's not great. Here comes the sun, here comes some light, and we've got it clear. So let's see if we can take that shot. It's not bad. That is a world better than the one we just took when there was no light. So we've got the abandoned street. Luck does play a part, and so does patience. You have to wait and see what you can get. Here's another one. Look, did you notice, same street, we got these 3 doors going on. That's right. Hola, oh, gracias. We've got these 3 doors going on in the street. Now, I think they could look really, really nice if they're properly composed and put together. And it also tells a little story about what this place is all about what's going on here. So, once again, we've got to wait for light because we want shadows. You see where the cross is right now? There isn't a shadow. This area in here is really, really flat. A shadow off that cross is going to lift it. It's going to put little dark edges around the doorways and make a world of difference. So let's have a look and frame up our shot whilst we wait. Get some video on the job. Here we go. So there's our doorways. Now let's have a little experiment. Let's play with focal length. You see that's looking quite nice like that. There's a bit of a shadow starting to come up as well. We could possibly just come in on just this little area here and include maybe some sky. In fact, I kind of like that. It makes it a bit more simple. The wide shot isn't so great. We might be able to do it with all 3 doors. I'm not sure. Let's see what we can do. If I come over here to the right a bit and zoom in, yeah, we can, and we can include some sky, but I think our vertical shot is the one that will work the best. So kill the video, we got a little bit of light coming in, and let's just zoom that puppy in. Let's see. And of course, as soon as I spoke, the light disappeared. You've got to keep watching all the time. You have to wait. Here it comes. Look, this will last just a breath. Here's the shot. I'm doing one with the focal length wider with the light, and I'm going to do another one without, but I am just including the edge of the street. I kind of like that corner. I kind of like that one. I think it's pretty cool. Let's go see if we can find another shot. As I came around the corner to walk off up this street, the one we've just photographed, I noticed something else. Look at this doorway. Look, this little doorway here is kind of looking lovely with its bit of ivy and all the wrinkliness, and over here on the wall we've got some shadows from a palm tree. Shadows can be added into pictures too. Something nice and simple can really work. Let's just do it. Let's take it. Let's just get ourselves lined up, make sure the horizon's nice and level, focus on it. It's a really, really simple picture, but I think it's pretty effective. And it's all caused by, whoops, get the exposure down. This palm tree is throwing a shadow down here. That's all it is. That's all you need. Kill the video. That's all it was that made all the difference. Let's go find another. Here is a little lesson in how less really can be more. It's very tempting when you come around a corner to maybe take a shot something like this. We see the cross, we see the church tower, and we just sort of take a picture, and it's not really very exciting, is it? It's a bit of a load of old nothing. But what about the cross? Sorry, I think I need to be this side. The cross down here, and that window just next to it. How about that? Sorry viewers, I can't actually see my little monitor next to the camera because the sun's in my eyes. How about if we just confined the shot to that? Let's have a little look through my video camera and see, and I'm hoping the battery doesn't die because it's on the edge. I've got a red flashing thing. I also want to make sure the sun stays out. It should do. Right. So let's have a look at our shot. Let's get the video going. Right, so that was our original shot, but how about if we just zoom in a bit and just concentrate on that area? Don't you think that the simplicity, the shadows and the light just makes a world of difference? So let's just shoot it. Let's just get in there and shoot it. I'm shooting at, don't need a lot of depth of field, do you? Because we haven't got any depth to the shot, have we? So let's just get that all nicely lined up and take that shot there. It's very simple, it's very easy, but it makes a great little photo when you go out and visit somewhere. Onwards and upwards. Yep, I've ditched the coat now. The sun's getting higher and it's getting warmer. Believe me, earlier on it was really quite chilly. There was a bit of a breeze blowing. So one last little thing I just noticed as I was wandering back to my car is along here. Look at these pretty little things planted in these pots. We got the lovely white edges, the plant, the black volcanic stuff, and it frames it up beautifully. So how would we go about taking a picture of it? Well, here's a couple of ways not to do it. I mean, let me just get a bit of video on the scene. Here we go, focus that. I mean, the average thing to do would be to just walk along the street, see that and go click. Well, it's all right. Or maybe do something like that and try and get the walls in as well. But you know what? I think it's too complicated. I think it's too messy. So let's have a go at something different. How about if we just hop up on the wall and use these white lines to frame the shot? Now, you don't want your shoes in there like I have. And you don't want to scuff the wall up. But look, as we zoom in, look, you see, it's starting to get a lot more interesting. So, kill our video and just take the picture. It's so simple to get something this easy. I just want to check my exposure, careful, because we got black and white, but I love the red and the green going on in between. Do I need much depth of field? Not really, because, well, I'm not going off into the distance, am I? But I've got to be careful because I want enough depth of field that I don't just get the top of the plant and the background soft. I want it all sharp. So I'm going to go in with about f11, f10, somewhere around there. 200 ISO's plenty. Just make sure it's nice and straight and take the picture. Now be careful with things like this when you've got straight lines, because if you get it wonky, look, it just looks rubbish, doesn't it? Or if you're a bit not careful with it, it all starts to look nasty. But you could, if you wanted to, include the pattern of the pavement. But again, be very careful to get those lines straight. Don't get it wonky. So something like that could potentially work. So there we go, we've had a little wander around, we've taken a few pictures. Now I can hear some people sort of saying, yeah, well, that's all very well, I don't live in Teguise, I don't live in a pretty little Spanish village. No, neither do I, but from time to time we may go on holiday, we may go somewhere, we may explore a new place, in which case it's about looking at the place, not just taking a general overview, not just sort of going, oh look, over there is the church tower, I'm going to take a picture of it, because frankly, that's not a great shot, is it? So we just zoom in, and still, frankly, it's not a particularly interesting shot. But maybe what we did earlier on, back in the village square, is a little more pleasing to the eye. You can practice this stuff anyway, you can practice it in your hometown. Now I know it's hard to practice these sorts of things in your hometown because you get jaded to it. I do. I live in a beautiful part of the UK, but I often sort of am thinking, oh, there's another photograph here, because I see it every day. But when you go somewhere else, start to look. Photography is about looking. Photography is about being inspired and about seeing the world in a different way. How often do we see a plant like that, just from straight down above, but it makes a pleasing picture. It makes a bit of a more eye-catching picture. So guys, I hope that was of some value to you. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, click in a couple of likes, share the video with other photographers that you might know. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear them below. If you really want to stay in touch with what's going on in the world, please subscribe to my newsletter. I only send it out once every couple of weeks. You can do that on my website at photographycourses.biz/videos. We'll always tell you when there's a new one coming up. Meanwhile, have a great time, take care, get out with your camera, go and practice looking at things differently, practice a bit of symmetry, practice a bit of detail, see how it goes. Take care, see you later.